and welcome back to the second episode of HR in the medical field. Our continuous guest, Ms. Pijaya Singh, will tackle today a different topic and more details of the HR in medical health. Hello, ma'am, and welcome back.
Hello, Hassan. Thank you for inviting me again.
Thank you so much for your effort being here with us and sharing your experience. So in the first episode, we spoke about the HR in general. And now we will start to dive a bit more into focused in the medical health. And while I'm doing the researches on the topic, I found out that they say this is the beast of HR, the HR of the medical. So if we start in a simple way, what is the main challenges in the HR in medical and health field?
Okay. Thanks. I'm not sure whether people call this as a beast or not, but I can say that, healthcare is a necessity for any people. I mean, when community wants to, or any patient wants to reach, they want to have a healthcare close by to their place. So healthcare is a necessity. It's not something like a need, or you can just, can we cut this? Yeah. Is it okay?
Start again.
I want to start again because I didn't start properly. Is it okay?
Yeah, okay. So, okay. Now I have the question. Have your answer.
Okay. Healthcare is a necessity. And in today's world, the way the healthcare has grown globally is really becoming big. And that means the more and more demand for people are there. More and more demand for skilled workers are there. So it goes for Dubai being in a very strategic location, and more expatriates are coming. As you know, we compose it about 89% of them are expatriates out of about 10 million population.
Cosmopolitan city.
Yes. So it has become more of a cosmopolitan city. So in such kind of scenario, the healthcare is a necessity. And in order to make the healthcare functional, you need to have people. And that means the people have to be available also. So when they call it as, HR as a beast, I would call it as, yes, we are there on a lookout for people because we want the best to work with us. And every hospital here is competing for the talents. They are not competing for the market share. They are competing for talents. So we do. So the big thing which we face today is the shortage of manpower. Because globally it is a shortage of manpower, the skilled manpower. And when I talk about that, it includes all the clinical workforce, from physicians to nurses to paramedics, everyone is included. So it is a huge demand in the market globally, right from UK, Sweden, to Australia, to India, everywhere it is one thing which is really required. So that's why we need a constant flow of manpower here.
Okay, I'll give the question, but your hair just there's a one string coming up in the back, yes? Okay, perfect. And that exactly leads to the point I wanted to ask actually is, it's a challenge to hire people in the medical field. It's really down, I think, to the process or how you select people, how you really select the right person for the candidate as a candidate to be in the hospital or in the medical facility.
First of all, I would like to give all the credit to the regulatory bodies here, DOH, DHA and MOH. This is like complete regulatory bodies who govern the healthcare licensing and everything. So it's a very, very clear-cut requirements for hiring any clinical workforce, whether it is a physician or a nurse or a paramedics. So as a HR, we invest time in understanding this very well, that what are the different types, what are the different tiers of physicians, tiers, I mean to say tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, which signifies the place from where they have done their education. So, for a hospital which wants to hire tier 1, that means it is focusing on physicians who are coming from US, UK and all. So tier 2 is another set of European countries which are covered, and of course some of the Asian countries as well. So this is how the tier are categorized. And then one has to understand the licensing requirement. So the licensing is like based on the qualification of the person and the experience. So if somebody has met the criteria, they have to go for a licensing for themselves. So license is like, you have to do it for yourself. You appear for an assessment which is conducted by these bodies. They are online, and also they also have face-to-face interviews also. And based on that, they give you the required license to practice. So for instance, a physician, there are three types of licenses as per the qualification. So if there is a general practitioner, he gets a GP license. A person with more than 5 years of experience, of course, he qualifies even for a specialist license if he completes 3 years of experience. 3 years post MD is something a person gets a specialist license, and 5 years and 10 years plus they get a consultant license. Based on the qualification, based on the experience, these regulatory bodies issues the licenses. So it goes for the nurses as well. So nurses, you have assistant nurse, you have registered nurse, you have midwives. So you have these kind of licenses there. So they have to appear for their required assessment programs, exams, and then qualify and get their license. Once they have the license, then they can compete or look for opportunities in all the countries, especially in UAE, I'm talking about. All these Emirates are governed by this. And what we have established, these kind of, based on licenses, these are given. This is also based on the global standards. So we are not very different. So if you're appearing for a license in UAE, you can actually go and work in other places as well. Other than UAE, your documents will be acceptable there, but then you will get a different license in that country. So what I'm talking about, the UAE specific. So UAE has these kind of criteria which are required.
That's that's the amazing way of I don't know if it's we can say making it for you easier or harder, because when people apply for this license, whoever is apply for a certain job, they have to be already met certain requirements from the government. Is that making it much easier for you to do the selection instead of starting things from zero, getting someone, and I think this is much easier in general.
Yeah.
Government entities making these things, yes, I think it's a very restricted rules for being licensed, but that make it sort of easier in a sense of having, we have everyone's licensed, everyone is authorized from the country to practice. Now it's a pure HR to select the right person for the post.
Yes, thanks for repeating your question on this point. The reason I shared all this is that since we are addressing a larger workforce, people should know how they can come to UAE to work. What does the expectation has been, what is the expectation which is laid by these regulatory bodies, how it is, because a lot of people till date doesn't know how to come to UAE.
Exactly.
So they really reach out, I'm a nurse with so many years of experience, how can I come? So the first thing I do is that, go to the DHA website or DOH or whichever emirate you are in, and then go through the requirements and go for the exam, assessment, and get your license. That's the first step of being the workforce being available. Now comes to the point, how do we address what is the challenge, what we are facing here? The challenge is that we hire the best for our hospital, which means how we do the assessment. Your question was, we have a assessment which is more competency based. Okay, so when I'm hiring a nurse, they have to go through a proper competency assessment exam, which is very customized for the nursing, which is more situation based, case based. They have to go for this. They have to appear for the face-to-face interview, and then if they are found suitable, then they are extended offer.
So to be understand, this is the post after she getting or getting their license, then they come to the hospital's assessment and exam and all this, and this is you put these kind of standards for sure along with the with the respected teams. Okay, so
Yes.
that's a different. There's another layer of
Yes.
being sure that this is the right person.
Yes. What I wanted to say is that, getting a license is the first step to enter UAE. I'm just addressing this question in a more holistic manner so that, people know what they are rather than coming to the same, coming to your question. So first is getting yourself visible. And how do you get yourself visible? Through going through this kind of licensing requirements, getting your license. Once you have the license, then you can actually apply for different opportunities which are always flashed by all the hospitals in their websites and different forums with different job portals and all we also advertise. So these are the way you can. But when it comes to my hospital, the way we do the hiring is all about going through the competency assessment which we have designed for the nursing as well as the paramedics. And for the doctors, we have more of face-to-face interviews where we ask them the relevant questions from their background, what they have done, how they have. Having said all this, the bigger challenge I would talk about is, people coming from diverse background, their countries offering different kind of setup to do this. Work. So for instance, when I have to hire a nurse from India, she has 10 years experience in critical care, but which hospital she has worked with, whether she has been with one of the metropolitan city or she's from any different kind of city which is upcoming over there. It all depends from which hospital she has gathered this experience. So, our standards are very high in UAE, because every hospital offers a very high standard of working. The best of medical equipments are there. Technology is very high. So you have to match those standards. So when you apply for these kind of jobs, we are primarily looking at you in that way, whether do you meet that standards.
Yeah, we mentioned this in the previous episode about the different cultures and different way of thinking when you hire doctors or medical staff. It's coming from a different culture and different way of thinking, and this has become I think, as you mentioned now, one of the challenges is to actually to put them on the right way, following the culture of the country and rules and all these things.
Yeah, and that's where the orientation programs and different training programs which we organize, in all the departments for all those people who are coming from different background. So if you are coming for the first time, you don't have to really worry because every hospital here, they have their own customized orientation programs, training programs designed for you to get assimilated with the current standards, So it will take some time, but then this is how it is. Coming back to our hospital, we hire mostly the local experienced people. People who have been working here in different hospitals who who are looking for a job opportunity to join us. Then we offer best employment terms to them to get them on board. And of course, we have a very good working culture that helps people to look for our opportunities. They keep looking for these kind of opportunities. When they come up, they are the first one to apply for it. So, needless to say, we are open for everyone to join Alzara. But however, the kind of local talent we have here, they apply for different positions with us, as well as the people who come from abroad are also very competitive in this. So we have a mix candidates available for us when we are looking for suitable placements.
And as I understood, you are always having ongoing training program and preparing program for all type of staff, whether different medical levels and different, but it is always ongoing training and stuff in the hospital, correct?
Yeah. The training is continuous because even the regulatory body requirement is very clear that you have to have required continuous medical education points, that's called CME points. So every doctor, they have to have a required number of points, which is like 40 plus, and nurses have also a required points they have to meet. So in order to have those kind of points, they have to continuously upgrade or upskill themselves, upskill in their areas or keep themselves abreast with what is going on. For instance, the life support training programs, which is a mandatory for everyone, for all the clinical people, that is the BLS program I'm talking about, basic life support. And accordingly, there are ACLS, PALS, these kind of programs which are given. Other than that, we also have internal training programs which are based on soft skill programs like, emotional intelligence, building resilience, communication, conflict management, being assertive, so many other different programs which we roll out time to time, from the HR to get them understand the other part of what is also, because interpersonal skills is very important. So you have to have a good interpersonal skill, you have to have a good communication skill, so that you can actually speak to the patients in a better manner.
This is one of the most important things. You are communicating with people in a special condition, like especially patients. They can, most of the time they can be agitated, in pain, hairy, if they have a parent. So this part of training to know how to deal. This is not medical. This is something definitely done by professionals to teach these professionals how to deal with people in a different situations.
Yeah, actually, the industry itself is something which deals with a lot of sensitivity and empathy. So these two factors are very important for people to have inbuilt in their character. As a personality attributes, you call it as, you have to have these kind of qualities in order to manage patient, or in order to have communication with your colleagues. You have to have that kind of skills, so that you are into it.
Well, let's tackle one topic. Okay. Mm-hmm. We both live in UAE for long enough, and you know that UAE and Dubai and everything is special in everything. Is there any special practice or special HR practice that it's unique? You think it's unique for Dubai or unique for UAE in a form of hiring or like what we think? There's something special. We say okay, this is Dubai style. Everything we have a Dubai style. Is there anything in HR we say, okay, this is UAE? Maybe, as you mentioned, the government, the very strict government body that regulate all this kind of license and all this kind of certification.
Sure. Basically, having spent about 15 years in UAE, and prior to that, more than 2 decades in India, not 2 decades, in fact, another 15 years, I would call it as. I have seen that difference, between India and UAE. UAE being a very small nation, but in terms of their policies and protocols are very clear laid out. It's easier for them also, keeping in view the population. But there is a lot of clarity on each and everything. Having said that, here, anybody who comes in to work in UAE, they have employment contracts. The contracts are unified labor contracts, which is actually given by the Ministry of Human Resource and Emiratization. They are called as MORI. So in order to get employment here, there is a very clear-cut thing that you have to follow the same standard labor contracts. You don't have your own customized contract. You may have something internally, but that internally has to be in compliance with what the contract is. So one, there is a fair employment practices in place, which I find it very, very unique, and standards, the standards are laid out for everyone. It's equal, Mm-hmm. So people have no ambiguity, You don't have to read anything between the lines to understand something. So this is very unique, I find that, and also gives lot of clarity to the expatriates who as I mentioned, they form 89% out of 10 million population. It gives a standard, these standard practices helps us to function efficiently,
Exactly.
and give clarity to other people also who are coming here. So this is one thing. Secondly, what is unique, I find that is Emiratization. I'm very sure globally, no country has this kind of fixation on giving a quota for employment for their own nationality. But here the government is driving this. Earlier, before 2022, the Emiratization was 1%. For the required number of workforce, which is like below 49 people, you have to have one Emirati. Now they have increased it to 2. So it is 2% workforce, and gradually every year it is increasing. So we started with 2022 and now it's progressing. So we have to reach in 5 years' time 10% Emiratization out of your own workforce. So the mandatory resolution which has been taken by the government is very unique. It doesn't really happen in any other part of the world. So it gives that kind of importance for the Emiratization for their own people. And also, it's not about the quota alone. They are expecting the private players to play a very important role to make these nationals self-sufficient, professionally and personally. And that's why they encourage them, although there are several government institutions who are also offering job opportunities for them, but there is private private players who have to employ these numbers.
Thing, pushing the young generation go and work in the private sector. There's a lot of opportunities there. Big knowledge is there. It's your way to enter the world. It's not like, okay, I'll work government or take my personal project. No, just go and work on the private sector.
Yeah, and this Emiratization is actually designed for the private sector only. So the clear objective is to empower them, make them learn everything as a private organization we do, and make them a part of us. So there are opportunities which have been opened for all segments, like administrative, clinical,
and
all of them,
fields.
yeah, in all the professions they have. Coming back to, since we are from the healthcare, I would say that, there are only 3% Emirati nurses who are available for us to employ. And with the help of Mori and Nafiz program, we have national student programs also, which we have enrolled ourselves. We employ students on our roll. We give them the required support. And once they finish their graduation, then they are full-time employees of our hospital. So this is something which we have signed. So this is a very unique HR practice.
Building your assets for the future, actually.
Yeah, this is very unique HR practice, I find that. Another thing I would like to talk about, as I mentioned to you about the contracts being so this thing, there are about 6 types of contracts which have been, introduced. Year 2022 was a very defining year for us because the federal degree of law of 1980 was replaced by 2022. And which gave us about 6 types of contracts especially for healthcare. It's very beneficial because you can now hire people on flexible working arrangements. That is, you have reduced working hours, you can do it. You can hire people on part-time contracts. Earlier it was just a full-time contracts, and unlimited contract was what it was driven earlier. Now it is limited contract.
Yeah, there was a major change basically in most of the type of contracts and all professions and
all industries. So this was a unified program which was driven in year 2022. So we have part-time, we have full-time, of course, we have flexible work arrangements we have, and we have also something which is like a sharing job sharing contracts. Job sharing contract is like, for one position, you can employ 2 people, on a part-time
On the same
basis.
position.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. For one position, you can have 0.5 percentage,
That's
50% to hire two people and have two part-time contracts.
okay.
You can do that. You have, as I mentioned about the flexible arrangement, you have remote working, which is very unique. And these kind of contracts have come post COVID. Then
Yeah,
we
exactly.
realize that we can work from home also. So there are certain functions which need not have to come to work. They can work from home. So remote working has also been introduced. So this is again very unique, so which gives a lot of clarity.
Well, this is a really informative part. Look, I did not know about all these contracts and this type of contracts. This is really. I was like, I think you noticed. I was just like, okay, I was sitting and listening and listening and listening. Ms. Vijaya, again, thank you so much for your time and the information, the amazing information you just. It was very informative episode.